Okay, come 2025 and CFA level 3 shall be a different ball game altogether. I'm sure those who are watching this video, they are aware about the fact that in CFA level 3 from 2025 onwards, we are going to have 3 specialized pathways and practical skills module. Practical skills module, the way it has been introduced at CFA level 1 and CFA level 2 is a must. It has to be done, although its scores or grading is not done. So let us not dwell too much into the practical skills module. And anyways, this particular video in this series is part 1. I may come out with part 2, part 3, part 4 as I get more information about the 2025 CFA level 3 curriculum. So let me talk about the specialized pathways. You know that the CFA program at level 3 was always known to be portfolio management. Even when we guide new aspirants into the CFA program, we tell them that you should aspire to become a fund manager. And when you imagine yourself to be a fund manager, you look at yourself as being a mutual fund manager or a PMS manager or an AIF manager in India who is primarily investing in the equity markets, the listed space, and of course using derivatives for hedging. Even the chief investment officer, for that matter, he is also looking at this arena. However, the CFA Institute has seen, and we have all seen, that markets have evolved and there is a big industry developing parallelly on private equity, private credit, and the entire mergers and acquisition and the deal domain. How is the deal sourcing done? How are the deals structured? How are the valuations done? It has become a very big industry. The CFA Institute on its website has given a very good justification of why they thought about coming out with pathways other than portfolio management. So first of all, let us know that what the 3 pathways are. One pathway is portfolio management, which was always there. The second pathway is private markets. The third pathway is private wealth. So portfolio management, private markets, private wealth. Although I do not like to show something while taking a particular presentation, but just to ensure that those of you who don't know the name may see the name, here the names are portfolio management, private markets and private wealth. So in my teaching style, if I were to ask you, in which portion are we going to study the risk objective, the return objective of the client and the constraints of the client, as in the liquidity constraint, the time horizon constraints. Okay, in which portion are we going to deal with the client's behavioral biases? In which portion are we going to deal with the HNI clients, the super HNI clients, the ultra HNI clients? You would all guess that, sir, it is the third area, private wealth. And then you would be confused that, sir, was private wealth management not already a part of CFA level 3? It was, and still it will be. But the depths of private wealth management, okay, in excruciating details would be there for those people who choose private wealth management as their specialized pathway. Okay, there will be a separate digging inside this portion, and believe me, this is a big industry, because you may be aware, okay, screen 1, you may be aware that what has grown at a much rapid pace over the last 2 decades, is it the world GDP or is it the world wealth? If you are not aware, let me tell you that global wealth, and in fact Indian wealth, has grown at a faster pace as compared to the GDP. And therefore there is a lot of prospects in the wealth management industry, both at an institutional level and individual level. Especially at individual level, the biases, the considerations and all the soft skills which come into play, okay, they are something that has to be known in detail. My thought process runs like this, that you might have heard of a program called the CFP. CFP, financial planner. Now that program is a program which focuses on financial planning for clients, guiding them on how to tackle their insurance, how to tackle their longevity risk, okay, and what sort of asset allocation to come out with and stuff like that. The CFA Institute already had a lot of content on the same, but that is not sufficient. So they are going to bring content over here in private wealth management which surpasses everything that CFP has to teach. And I say this not with any disrespect to the CFP program, because I have regards for all the program, but believe me, when the CFA program puts its head into a particular field, the type of content, the depth, the questions, the ethical posture is unparalleled in the industry, and CFP won't be able to compete, except the fact that in India, CFP also looks at Indian regulations, Indian taxations, but CFA program is more global in nature, so it will not talk about Indian taxations or Indian real estate, the wills and the trusts part, but globally, okay, the way it happens. So I think if anybody had a doubt that, sir, I think I should do the CFP program, I think anybody feeling that they should do the CFP program, they should better do the CFA program and choose private wealth as the specialized pathway. Okay. When we come to the second one, let me come to the second one. The second specialized pathway is the private markets. Now, every now and then we are listening about Elon Musk. Okay, when he acquired Twitter, what episode took place? So such acquisitions, all the platform companies, the way they are running, the unlisted space, it is growing at a massive pace. I do not remember the figures, but the CFA Institute has cited figures which are running into around $25 trillion, which is like the US market cap right now, the private space, both private equity, private credit, special situations, real estate, infra. There are so many funds in India which are floated to fund these areas. So private market is a very big space, and many students of mine are also working in this space, and they often feel that the content which is covered in CFA curriculum right now is not up to date as far as private markets are concerned, and I agree with them. I agree with them that yes, the content is not up to date. So if you wanted to get into the deal space, okay, the startups, the LBO, okay, and the private credit and the real estate infra, the depths of it, in that case the CFA Institute is leaving no space uncovered. And now once again my feeling over here is that, let's come to screen one, that here the CFA Institute is giving a direct hit to the CAIA program. Okay, you know, when the CFA Institute had last year announced that they will come out with specialized pathway, one of the heads from CAIA had immediately said something derogatory about the CFA Institute, because that person was taken aback. He thought that now who would do CAIA? Exactly. CAIA, alternate investments, the areas that they go into, the CFA Institute, after 2 levels of rigorous preparation, when they get into this field, they are going to just do away with any requirement to go for CAIA. Of course, the CFA Institute has said that they have designed the content from a GP perspective, the general partner perspective, you must be aware, while the CAIA program focuses more on the LP perspective and the asset owner's perspective. I would not like to just go on and speak about this because I'm not teaching. So anybody interested in those two spaces, okay, the private market space or the private wealth space, can choose those pathways. And obviously, screen 3 please, we do have the portfolio management pathway which is still intact. If you still think yourself, if you aspire to become a fund manager or a chief investment officer 10 years, 15 years, 20 years down the road, okay, the portfolio management angle is definitely open for you. Now there are 2 types of people, screen 1 please. One are students who have not yet approached the industry, who have not worked in the industry. So they would be confused, to be very fair with them, as to which pathway should they choose, the portfolio management pathway or the private markets pathway or the private wealth management pathway. I would say that if you are a student who has not yet tested the waters, the industry, you better choose the portfolio management pathway if you like mathematical stuff, as in numerical stuff. But if you are a person who believes that I'm very well, my communication skills are very good, I'm able to deal with people very nicely, I like dealing with people, with HNIs and all that, the soft skill part is what I like, I think you should choose the private wealth pathway. Okay, I'm talking about students right now. And those students who are like for the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years enchanted with the entire startup space, and they look at Elon Musk with a certain zeal, and then when they see all those valuations, new startups and all that, they are awed by how a particular startup is valued, then they can choose the private markets pathway. Listen to your inner self. It is not that one is easier, the other is difficult. Like portfolio management is easy, private wealth is difficult. It is not that at all. Anybody saying that is not doing the correct way. The choice of the pathway should depend upon what your inner core says. You imagine yourself to be, what do I say? Say a Nilesh Shah, okay, who's the chief investment officer for Kotak, okay, or you imagine yourself to be Aridham Desai, then you are going to the portfolio management pathway. On the other hand, if you are imagining yourself to be a deal maker, okay, running a private equity fund or a private debt fund, and you really like those private space, in that case you choose the private markets pathway. And the third one, if you like dealing with people, the Virat Kohlis and the Sachin Tendulkar and all those stuff, okay, so in that case you go for the private wealth management pathway. In fact, for private wealth, you all have idea, because haven't we done at length in CFA level 1 itself, okay, all the risk tolerance level and the return objective and the constraints of different investors and the biases. You have done at level 1 itself. At level 2, haven't you done private equity and private credit? You have. So you can't complain that no, I have no idea about the same. But this is like real depth. Okay. So I would not try to create a bias in your mind regarding which particular pathway to choose. There are some who would say that since private markets and private wealth are going to be new write-ups from the CFA Institute stable, therefore the write-ups may not be very stable, and therefore the student will suffer. I don't believe in this. I think CFA Institute academically is very, very professional. Okay, they do a very good job when it comes to the content part, and they will be totally competent, and they will ensure that the stuff that comes out is apt, relevant, contemporary, and does the job. So I think you choose the pathway according to your aspiration, according to your areas of interest. Okay, some would sit at chat GPT and perhaps type as to which pathway should they go for, this or this or this, based on which offers better career opportunities. I think all the three pathways offer tremendous opportunities. If I'm talking from Indian point of view, yes, tremendous opportunities in all the three pathways. It is a question of your inner call. Okay, where does it come? So that was regarding the three pathways. Now let me talk about the minutiae. As far as the minutiae are concerned, that's how will the paper be designed. So we always talk in CFA program about the core. Now we shall talk about the common core and the specialized pathway. So the core is divided into two parts. The common core, which everybody taking the CFA level 3 has to study, and then there is a specialized pathway, as in which one would you like to top up. It's like a top up, portfolio or private markets or private wealth. So you have to put a top up on the common core. Okay, the common core according to the CFA Institute is around 65 to 75%, while the specialized pathway is 25 to 35%. So you can consider 70-30, 70% common core, 30% the specialized pathway. Okay, since the CFA Institute has not released material regarding the private markets and the private wealth management, Therefore, we all are waiting that in the month of May, we get the content from the CFA Institute, okay, regarding the other two. And it's not that you will look at the content and then decide, because then what people will start doing, they will look at the number of pages. The specialized pathway in portfolio management, how many pages? 1400 pages. The specialized pathway in private markets, how many pages? 1100 pages. I think such sort of decision making is totally senseless. We are going to become fund managers or private market participants and advising clients. We cannot stoop down to that level to take a decision on which pathway to choose based upon the number of pages or number of words. Please don't give your ears or head to anybody explaining the rationale for choosing a particular pathway based on that. No, it is totally based upon your interest, and your interest will come. There is so much of social media, YouTube and all that. Just see now, okay, type in and see, listen about how careers are created as a CIO or a fund manager when you choose portfolio management, or in the private market space, okay, Elon Musk acquiring Twitter and so on, or in the private wealth space when you become okay, the head of the super HNI division or ultra HNI division in a particular wealth management firm. Believe me, all the three offer brilliant opportunities. Okay, you have to see your interest in the area. As far as the exams are concerned, exams, they have not come out with the exact format, but the exam format will remain the same. The AM PM session, essay and item sets combined together, all the topics mixed together, and essay and item set combined together. So no change in the exam format. When your results come out, or the charter that you get, it does not mention, it will not mention that you have done this particular pathway, say the portfolio management pathway or the private wealth pathway. Of course, to your prospective employer, you may definitely communicate that in CFA level 3 you chose this particular pathway instead of these two. Okay, that's definitely possible. So I think as the industry evolves, industry will definitely look at the fact that this person has done the private markets pathway, and therefore he is a good person, okay, to be recruited, okay, for being an investment associate in a general partner firm, okay, that way. So that will definitely start happening. So although the charter will not speak about that, because the common core will definitely contain all the three. Let me explain. The common core, the 70% part, does it have portfolio management? Yes. Does it have private markets? Yes. Does it have private wealth? Yes. But the depth of it is there in the specialized pathway. Okay. You cannot change from one pathway to another, okay, based upon your moods. Which means if you choose one pathway, you have to stick to that. At the time of registration into CFA level 3, you have to choose a particular pathway and stick to that. You can't change. Of course, unfortunately, if somebody is not able to clear CFA level 3, then he or she can then change the pathway if they want to. Okay, then. But otherwise, they can't. Once you choose a pathway, you stick to that. If you are a person that really craves for knowledge, and many people are, okay, who crave for knowledge, and you wanted to get the depth knowledge of all the three pathways, how can you get the same? Now the fact is that once you clear the CFA program, you become a charter holder, the CFA Institute definitely shares all the developments with members and all that. So number one, that's the way. But otherwise, if I were to speak informally, because I do speak informally the way it is, on the different social media, Telegram channels, core readings are shared, okay, by people. I'm not saying it's ethical or unethical, but that's the way it is. So obviously you may get access to the core, okay, from there, or people who refer to other materials like Squeezer or whatever, they can refer over there for the specialized pathway. Sir, what about SSEI? Are you going to teach all the specialized pathway? I am waiting to teach, okay. I am dying to teach all the three pathways, because that gives me an opportunity to delve into the other two, okay, the private market space and the private wealth management space. If you ask me, sir, your interest lie where? My biggest interest lies in portfolio management. I love that field. Then into private markets, and then into private wealth. But believe me, you are not supposed to follow my interests, okay, because I am not too good in the soft skills part, okay, as in one-to-one communication and all that. I'm not too good into that. I'm more a person who requires hard matter, but then you may be a different person, so do not go by what I said. I think that I should not have said ki what are my interest areas. As far as SSCI is concerned, right now the registrations that we are taking for the Feb 25 examinations for CFA level 3, we are offering them the portfolio management pathway only, because obviously that is ready. But when the core content is released for the other two, I'll start covering the lectures, okay, and the notes and the questions for the other two pathways, and I believe I'll be able to complete all that by mid-October, okay, the two other pathways. So those who decide to go for the private markets or the private wealth pathway with SSCI, they can complete the 70% common portion, the common core, okay, till the mid-September, mid-October. Oh, and it's not that mid-October I'll release the entire thing. I will start releasing from May, June, July and so on. So you can start preparing the specialized pathway as and when the material is developed. So all the three pathways will be available. As at the time of recording this video, I have not disintegrated the program into two parts, as in the common course and specialized pathway, but I have told my team to do that. So when you visit the SSCI website in future, you will find that over there in CFA level 3, there will be a common core, and then there will be a link to specialized pathway, and you have to choose with us. Yes, with us also you have to choose which pathway. Okay, you can't change, okay, before your, unless you are not successful, which in SSCI normally we feel that that shouldn't happen. I am very, very clear about it. If you are following the core end of chapter questions, the examples, and you have your concept well grounded, and you have done the candidate resources and especially the mock tests, in that case it is not possible that you may not clear CFA level 3. People start working in CFA level 3 as compared to L1, L2. They are not able to give that much time. It is more qualitative in nature. They don't take mock test properly. Okay, they don't do so many times revision. They tend to forget the stuff because they don't make their own notes or audios, because of which some challenges happen to some people in CFA level 3 as compared to level 1, level 2. As I said, this is part 1 of this particular series of video, that CFA level 3 2025, a different beast. This is the first video, part 1. I will come out with part 2, part 3 and update all of you, okay, as I get more information. Hope this was a productive session. Thank you.